So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of The Chill Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the second album by the band Slope, and it's called Freak Dreams. And for those of you that don't know Slope, it's a fairly newer band. This is their second album, and they're from Germany, and they're German and funky. And who would have thought? When I think of like German bands and funk, it doesn't go together. So they describe their sound in their website as they're like a mixture of old Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't mean new Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean Mother's Milk, Blood Sugar Sex Magik, and the albums before in the 80s. But it also has some influences from the Beastie Boys. I even heard a lot of Infectious Grooves on some of the songs, and there's even a song when the singing reminds me of like Jane's Addiction, the first album. So they have all those elements of the 90s funk, and they do it with a modern style. They're like a mixture of funk with hardcore. They remind me a little bit of like a band like Turnstile, which is a newer band, but they're not much on the funky, but they do experiment with 90s sounds and alternative and hardcore. And so Slope is doing something but more funky. But it's very refreshing to listen to a band like this doing this type of style in 2024. So the album has 12 tracks and it's 35 minutes in length. So it's an album that goes fairly by really quickly. What to me are the standouts musically in this album? I really like the bass on this album. The bass almost is front and center on every track. It's very funky. So that's why it reminds me a lot of like stuff that Flea does, and especially Infectious Grooves. And there's some metal elements, especially in one track, that you get like a Suicidal Tendencies type of vibe. So the album starts with Talk Big, and right off the bat you get that energy, that bombastic bass, and that rapid like delivery in the vocals, that is rapping style that Anthony Kiedis used to do back in the day. So yeah, that's very reminiscent on that. But there's tracks here that really stand out to me. So my favorite tracks of this album is It's Ticking, I Love True Blue, Why Sad, which was one of the single, Freak Dreams, another single, and the track that ends the album, Out of the Blue Into the Black, which features the Illuminator. And that's the track that finishes the album on a more like crossover, thrash type of metal. With some funkiness. The funkiness never leaves, and I really enjoyed that. But when you listen to a song like the ones that I mentioned, like Freak Dreams, Is Ticking, and Why Sad, they're just fun tracks. You can dance along to them. Freak Dreams really reminds me of Infectious Grooves in the delivery of the vocals, and it's just a song that really it flows so well together. I like the guitars on it too. They're funky, they're fun, they never get boring. This is an album that's always like fun and experimenting, and you never get bored with it. There's songs that are more on the hardcore side, like Nosedive, some parts of Hectic Life. True Blue is the one that really reminds me of Jane's Addiction, especially in the vocals. Like there's a vocal there that I really reminded me of those classic Jane's Addiction songs like Being Caught Stealing, which is very fun. And It's Ticking, it's a song that even though it's funky, it's got a thick bass and also a hardcore element to it, so it can be more tougher. And that's something that I enjoyed. To me, listening to this album now, it sounds like you're transported back to the 90s, where there were so many other bands that experimented with some funkiness and metal. Another band that comes to mind is Fishbone, when I think of this type of vibes that this band has. So this is a band that seems to be influenced a lot by all those bands that experimented in the 90s, because in the 90s, To me, it's one of the times in music that the experimentation was the best. You know, people really accepted experimentation and different type of bands that I think is lacking in the modern metal and rock world. So, yeah, to me, Freak Dreams by Slope is just an album that it's really growing on me. You know, it's a grower, but I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but it's a super fun record that if you like all those type of bands that I've just been talking about, you will enjoy this. If you don't like funk with metal, obviously this is something that won't be for you. But if you're open-minded, listen to this because you know it's a newer band, and I think they have the talent to be as big as Turnstile. So yeah, you heard it here on the She'll Do on a Couch. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think of Slope and Freak Dreams? Did you like it? Is there other like bands that remind you of them in the sound? And comment, what are your favorite tracks from this album? I would really want to know. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to give me a like and do not forget to subscribe. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch. And I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.